Hey, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Gates weekly recap for the 32nd week of the series. We're here today with, we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. We haven't been on in 2 weeks, and I feel really bad that, I wasn't there for you guys and I missed a couple weeks. I love talking about this show with you guys. I think it's the best soap opera on television. Sorry about that. I've said that before, that I think it's the best soap opera on TV. And I truly mean that it is. I love our hour every day in Fairmount Crest with, the crazy things that happen. It's a soap opera. What do you expect? Crazy things are going to happen on a soap opera, and they go. I want to say locally before we move on, the Lake County Sentinel will be covering 3 high school football games tonight. Holy Name at Lake Catholic, Riverside at North, and then Wycliffe at Berkshire. So let's just move on with the Beyond the Gates recap now. The big news for the week is we now know that Haley is a con woman. The whole marriage to Bill is a scam to get his money. We found that out this week when she revealed herself with her cousin, who works at the casino, who was friends with Doug before he was killed. He turns out to be Haley's cousin. Yeah, I know there was some connection, and anybody who watches knows there was some connection because he helped her out with the fake miscarriage several months back. But, so it shows that they pulled cons off before. And it looks like what they're going to try to do now is they're going to kill Bill. They're going to try to kill Bill. It's going to be very interesting to see how this happens. I had said early on in the show that I thought Bill could get murdered, and then there would be a mystery who killed Bill Hamilton. But you know what? I don't think so now. I don't think Bill's getting killed off. He may be close. It might end up being close. But I also think that Bill is too valuable of a character now to the show, and they're not going to kill Bill Hamilton off. Him and Dani have been growing closer together. They've kissed a couple times since the last time we talked on this show. So it'll be interesting to see if what happens there. I think that the fact that, the fact that Dani married Andre really drives Bill nuts. And who knows? Maybe Bill and Dani will end up back together at some time, but who knows? Maybe they won't. I think about this. I got a question here on the TikTok stream. Somebody asked me if I was going to cover the Wycliffe football game tonight. I think back to my start in analyzing soap operas came at Wycliffe High School back in the 80s. When my original journalism teacher, the late Mrs. Lana Kuhar, decided that she did not want to teach the journalism class anymore, and she left. I remember thinking to myself, I don't really want to be here either. So we'll go somewhere else. And I didn't go. I stayed, and I started writing a soap opera column, and it was good for me. I enjoyed it a lot. And And that's where it began, this soap opera odyssey for me. But here with Beyond the Gates, let's get back to that. Smitty and Martin were remarried today, which was great. And then after that, Nicole left the wedding upset, I think because it made her realize that she still loved Bill or still loved Ted. And, Nicole doesn't like being wrong. So she ran out, but then she ends up at Ted's hotel room and things looked like they were going well. And then, of course, Leslie pulls the fire alarm, and that's how the show ended for the day. And so it'll break the chemistry there between Nicole and sorry about that, and Ted. And so she will, she'll win again. But I do think Nicole and Ted will get back together. It just might take a little longer than we think. Who knows? Maybe they'll drag the storyline out for a year until their year anniversary, and then they'll get back together. But I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying the, it's just another storyline. It's a soap opera storyline, but some of those, Leslie's crazy. She's crazy. And I think we've said that on every episode since we got together in February. I really think that what we need is, I think that Beyond the Gates is such a good show that I do a show about it. And that's why. And, that's what this show is. This is a show about Beyond the Gates. I mean, I could talk about a lot of other things. I love talking about sports. I love talking about high school football and covering the teams I cover. I cover the Wicked Blue Devils every week, and they're coached by a really good coach, Mars Porcello. He's one of the better coaches in Northeast Ohio. And I don't think I say that as a biased Wycliffe person. I think it's true. But, just like Beyond the Gates, it's a great show. But so what we have is Samantha has been, seeing her mom getting closer to June, which is great. And I think that, Terrell wants nothing to do with June. He remembers he was a little older than Samantha. He remembers the struggle when June would abandon them when they were young. But I'm glad that Samantha is getting, back to having a relationship with her mom, because I think that matters for a girl. But I think that could cause, Smitty and Martin got remarried today, but I think that could cause them some problems because Smitty doesn't seem to want the kids to have any contact with June. So that's the thing there, and I think that could cause a problem. As we talked about Andre and Dani there for a minute when we talked about Haley being a con woman, Andre wants to stay married to Dani now, and Dani seems okay with it. He moved all his clothes in this week. It was great. Chelsea had a fit that Dani got rid of some of the designer clothes, and she called it a crime. That was some comical stuff that went on there. I like Chelsea. She's really probably one of my favorite characters on the show. So Bill doesn't like that Andre and Dani are staying married. So that makes me think more that, excuse me. Let me take a drink here real quick. That makes me think more that, obviously his marriage is going to be over to Haley once you realize she's a con woman and she's trying to kill him. But makes me think more that he'll get back with Dani, or he might not get back with Dani right away. He might want to act like he's not giving in. He's not getting back with her. But and then we have I thought that Kat was going to catch Eva and Tomas together, but they did not. The show ended with Eva and Tomas at the hotel room where they, had one of the worst moments as a couple. And some shenanigans were going on at the end. That's all we'll say. Because I know our audience on TikTok may be younger. So, but Jacob and Naomi, Naomi found out she's pregnant. Jacob wants to have kids. I guess when they got married, they did not want to have kids, but now they want to have kids, or he wants to have kids. She does not want to have the baby. She is really going through it, trying to figure out what she wants, talking to her mom, talking to her dad, feeling bad when other people are talking about kids. So I don't know. I think what's going to one of the things that's going to bear on her the most is she's eventually going to end up at Orphe Jeans, and she'll talk to June. And June's going to convince her that she should have the baby, because June's going to let her know that having babies was the greatest thing she ever did, even though she could not take care of them at first. So I think June is going to help Naomi make the decision to keep the baby. I think she'll keep the baby. I don't think she's going to have an abortion or give it up for adoption. I think she'll have the baby. I do. As we've said, Leslie is still nuts. Joey Armstrong actually looked like he felt some emotion this week, and he felt bad for Donell, Doug, and Doug's son. And it looked like he felt bad for him. And then, you never know, though. He's a mobster. He's a guy who has killed people. So you don't know if he felt bad, but it seemed as though that's what they wanted to make it out, that he felt bad. So here we go with that. We'll see what happens. Vanessa wanted to know why he offered him a job. He gave the typical Joey answer, trying to make himself look good. But he, Donell did not take the job. So that's, that, of course, that kind of probably bothered Joey, because, Joey always gets what he wants. But that's, that we went over a lot. We went over a lot in 13 minutes here, which is crazy. I think that, I think Donell's eventually going to find out that Joey was responsible, and so will Vanessa. Joey will end up in prison, and he'll try to bring Vanessa down, but Vanessa will get, if she gets in trouble, she'll probably get a slap on the wrist, because she's one of Fairmount Crest's royalty. So she'll probably get out of it. But I think Joey will eventually go to prison. Who knows? He might get out right away. You know how it is on soap operas. Something happens and they get out. But I think once Vanessa finds out that Joey's responsible for Doug's death, it's not going to be good. So, but, that's what we had going on in Fairmount Crest. I mean, not a lot going on with the Articulates. It looks like that that storyline's pretty much over now that they've said that Leslie was the fourth articulate's daughter. I'm not sure we'll ever see the other two articulates again, or I could be wrong. They'll probably be on next week. Yeah, I think that storyline's over. It was a good storyline, but I think that one's done. But I think, if you haven't watched Beyond the Gates, it's on CBS. In Cleveland, the affiliate is Channel 19 at 2 o'clock weekdays. I think it's at 2 o'clock all over the country. I can't be sure, but I think it is. It's also on Paramount Plus. You can watch it on demand on there. And on Tubi. So it's a good show. If you like soap operas, watch it. It's a fast-paced soap opera, which for me is great because I can't stand slow-paced soap operas. The only slow-paced soap opera I really ever liked was Dark Shadows. But if it's slow-paced, I don't want anything to do with it. If I can turn it on Monday and then I can't watch it again till Friday and they're still on the same scene, I don't want anything to do with that show. But Beyond the Gates moves fast. A day is a day on there. So I like that. That's pretty much all there is for this week. The show moves on. We are very close to 10 months in or 8 months in. Next week will be 8 months in. Next Friday will be 8 months. Will be the 8th month anniversary of Beyond the Gates. So when, like I said, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a good show. You will be happy you watched it. And, Fairmount Crest is the name of the city. It's a city in Washington, D.C., a suburb in Washington, D.C., and it's just it's a really good show. And it's created by people who've already created TV shows. So hopefully you'll watch it. And then you can watch me do the recap each Friday, and we could talk about it. And you'll know what I'm talking about maybe. But, I think until next week, that's probably going to be it for this week. I think next week we'll do a vault. We'll do a soap opera vault, and we'll go back and we will discuss a nighttime soap opera. I think we're going to discuss the nighttime soap opera Behringers. It was only on for 13 weeks, and it was a good show. I wish it would have lasted longer. I believe they made 13 episodes, but I think only 11 aired. But we'll talk about that next week. We'll open the soap opera vault, and we'll talk about Behringers for the last 5 minutes of the show next week. But until then, I hope everybody has a great week. And until we meet again here next week, maybe I'll see you somewhere in Fairmount Crest.